Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fensky. Yesterday, a group of local leaders did what in the St. Louis region sometimes feels unthinkable. They developed a regional plan to address the spread of coronavirus. The plan came out of a meeting that included St. Louis Mayor Lyda Krewson, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page, St. Charles County Executive, the St. Clair County Board Chairman, the Madison County Board Chairman, and some healthcare professionals as well. And here today to talk to us about what they've decided and how this will affect your life is Mayor Lyda Krewson. Mayor Krewson, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate being on with you.
So some of these changes that you guys are now rolling out are pretty big. Give us some of the major highlights for those who've been living under a rock and don't know what came down yesterday.
Well, thank you. I think probably everyone knows this by now, but most important to say to people that one of the things we did yesterday is that there can't be any public gatherings of more than 50 people. And for those gatherings that are less than 50 people, we are still recommending social distancing. So, it's really, it seems rather extreme, I think, to many, many people, but this came down as a recommendation from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, and it's actually been adopted by all 5 of these counties, and the governor as well put out a statement late last night that he was also recommending that. So, what does that mean? That means church, 50 people. That means casinos, 50 people. That means a wedding or a funeral. This is tough stuff, 50 people. Restaurants and bars are still open. However, they have a 50 people limit, and we are recommending that tables be spaced 6 feet apart. This is, so if me and my family are at one table, yours would be at another table that would not be butted right up against one another. So it's a very tough situation. The 50-person limit applies to an enclosed space in a room.
Okay.
So, you might have 50 people inside and you might have 50 people outside, for example. I've had dozens of calls, tweets, emails since last night, and we're just trying to get the word out and to be clear with people that this is a very serious situation. In the U.S. so far, I just saw this pop up on the news within the last hour. There are 3,800 cases.
That's a lot.
A day or 2 days ago, I think on Saturday, there were 1,687 or something like that. So it really is a rapidly evolving situation, and that's why we took these pretty drastic measures of no more than 50 people in a public gathering.
Now, we're hearing this morning from a number of restaurant owners and people who work in the restaurant business who understand things are rapidly shifting. And the number one question they had, are restaurants getting shut down for dine-in business going forward? Do you see that on the near horizon?
The truth is we don't know the answer to that. I hope not. But we don't know the answer to that. That happened in Illinois, as they no doubt know. There are members of the medical community that some are pushing for that, some are not. We are being very seriously advised by the head of BJC, SSM, and Mercy. They were all in the meeting that we had yesterday, not just both the presidents of those groups, but also their medical directors. So we really are trying to be very this is about science. This is not about politics, and we can't have it be about politics. We have to take the steps necessary to keep people safe.
What about City Hall? Are the halls of government still open for now? Are there plans to revisit that?
I don't plan to shut down City Hall. I think we are the government. We have to be open if we can be. We provide so many services that are about more than just what we do in City Hall. We patch potholes, we pick up the trash, we police the streets, we fight fires, we have corrections officers. I mean, there are just most city employees, frankly, cannot work from home. Now, those who can in some departments, that department head is able to, let people rotate in and out. This morning I visited with Collector Greg Daly. Most people know him. They pay their taxes to
That's a well-known name in this town.
Gregory FX Daly. And so we visited with him. He had a lot of people in the office where you renew your driver's licenses and sitting out in the chairs in the hall. And so we worked with him, and we actually have some marshals that are helping him to sort of space people out. We have tables and chairs in the lobby of City Hall, both on the first and second floor. So go in, get your number, and then, move away from the other folks until your number is called, and they will certainly accommodate. So it is a matter of practicing that social distancing.
Okay. We've got a call here coming in. I want to go to the phone lines. Kayla is calling from St. Louis. Kayla, hi. You're on St. Louis on the air.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you. I have a couple questions for the mayor. One is, how does the ban on 50 people gathering or more, how does that apply to folks that are being locked up, the hundreds of folks who are locked up pre-trial? And then two, today, or as of Friday, the total jail population is less than 860, which is the capacity of the city justice center. Why can't we close the workhouse today and use those resources to take care of our vulnerable communities, including wage workers, children, and the unhoused?
Kayla, thank you so much for that question. Mayor Krewson.
Absolutely. We're very concerned about about spacing people out, both in our jails and otherwise.
Since you have two different facilities.
We have two different facilities, and we actually are. We always screen people as to whether or not they're fit for confinement, but there's even more screening going on today. And of course, the reason that we have about 850 detainees in jail today is because we have been systematically over the last 3 years making sure that people are not held there who do not need to be held there. Mm-hmm. So that's really the answer to that.
Has anyone at the jail been tested at this point? Or at the workhouse or the Justice Center?
I don't believe anyone there has been tested at this point, although I wouldn't necessarily know that. HIPAA is something that we're very careful to follow. And so I don't know the identity of every person in the city who has been tested.
Sure. We have a question or a thought that came in from Twitter. Kenneth writes that he's heard a rumor from a county library board member that St. Louis city libraries and surrounding county systems are closing till April. He adds, if true, this could deeply impact low-income residents' ability to stay informed and connected. Do you know anything about what the libraries might be planning at this point?
I think the libraries are planning to close and to focus their efforts on the online and downloadable material. And so certainly that is difficult because a lot of people use the library to get access to the internet who don't have it otherwise. So, but yes, I understand that is the case.
Okay. Tim emails in to say, is there a plan for closures of the preschools or daycare facilities? Though the children may not exhibit, they may pass it along to staff who are in some of the vulnerable categories that physicians mention.
Correct. There is actually on Saturday, we had a call in St. Louis with St. Louis Public Schools, 36 charter schools, the Archdiocese. There were about 45 people on that call, and there were some daycare centers on that call as well. They fall into a bit of a different category. Schools are closing this week, Wednesday. All the schools in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Charles are all closing this week. And that probably should have been something I said at the top of the hour.
I think parents speaking as one, we all know.
You all figured that out. So schools are closing. Daycare centers are a bit of a different entity, and there is a call with DHSS, Department of Health and Human Services, I think is the initials there, at the state level to figure out what to do about daycare centers. But still no more than 50 people in a room, children or otherwise. There, you have licensed daycare, you have non-licensed daycare, and then you have preschool, which are all kind of a little bit different. At this time, they have not closed.
Okay. In our remaining minutes here, I know this is the least of your worries, but it's something I worry about as a taxpayer. How big of a hit are you worried that this could be to the city's budget?
I think it's a big hit to the city's budget. I can't give you a number, but what I worry about even more are the people. We have 88,000 people in this region who work in the hospitality industry, for example. That's hotels, bars, restaurants, stagehands who set up equipment, all number of people. Well, many of them are hourly, and many of them are not going to be getting the hours that they need. So I said, I think it was on Friday, for folks, if you can still go out to eat or do carry out and double your tip. If you can. I mean, it's just a matter of really thinking about the other person here. Now, long term, that's not good enough. We need direct help from the federal government, direct aid to people that are going to be affected by this.
That's something a city can't do.
We can't do it. I mean, we're doing some things in the city which will make it better for our employees, we hope, in terms of continuing to pay them. But we got to worry about all employees, and the federal government really has to step up and help individuals in this case, or the crisis will be even bigger than it is now.
Well, Mayor Lyda Krewson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we're going to continue to keep people updated on this situation. Again, if you had a question or a comment and you weren't able to get through today, we want to encourage you to call our St. Louis on the Air voicemail line, and we'll try to work on that for future shows. Again, that's 314-516-6397, 314-516-NEWS. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.